Hello again, everybody. It's me, Marcus, and I review stuff. Today I'm reviewing the song The Whistler by The White Buffalo. This is a live performance at Guitar Center. I can't say I've ever heard anything from The White Buffalo. I actually have never heard of the artist until now, until I got this request, as a matter of fact. And so this is going in totally blind reaction, no idea what to expect. Based on the guy's awesome beard. Those are beard goals right there. Based on his awesome beard, country? I mean, I have no idea. But, whatever it is, I hope that I will enjoy it. You guys seem to really be keyed into what kind of music I like. So I think this is going to be a good one, hopefully. I had that optimistic feeling. I have high hopes. So as I mentioned, this did come as a request. So if you would like to request something as well, just leave it in the comments below, and I'll be sure to get to it eventually. So, let's listen. The White Buffalo at Guitar Center. This is The Whistler. Here we go.
All right, this is a song. Basically, he gets shot and comes back from the war, and he's pretty disturbed when he comes back, and is not adjusting really to civilian life, and he still feels like a killing machine and kind of bloodthirsty, and so this song follows.
Damn, it's heavy already.
This time is different. It's not like the time before. Well, I cross my heart that I won't kill no more. Jesus, watch over me, keep my anger at home. You better bless these wicked hands, 'cause they got a mind of their own. Don't go downtown. The devil whispers in my ear, it's time for your curtain call. So I dress myself on up with alcohol. Step aside, oh, let the whistler through. Well, there really ain't no help at all. Folks like me and you don't go downtown. Don't you go downtown. Well, get your goddamn hands up. Don't you look at me. No one's dying here alone. Well, I kinda get it on. Let's get it on. This time is different. It's not like the time before. Well, I crossed my heart that I won't kill no more.
God damn, man, that was a hell of a song. I have so much to say about this one. Holy shit, that was fantastic. Thank you so much for whoever requested that. And that one was an experience, and I'm really glad that I had the opportunity to go in blind and experience it for what it is. Damn, that was so good. I loved that whistling, just really well executed, and I feel like it added this sort of Western vibe to the song. Reminiscent of the Old West and old Western movies and stuff like that. Which I think that vibe was definitely intentional here. The guitar was enjoyable. Dude sang with so much just emotion and heart, and then just transitioned smoothly throughout. Man, this dude just knocked it out of the park. I've said before, I'm a huge fan of just guy with guitar, girl with guitar, because it's really just stripped down to its most basic elements, and it's just raw, pure emotion and performance. I love it. Fantastic. Absolutely love this song. This one's got me reeling right now. So I'm really happy to break it down and talk about it. So he said it at the beginning of the song, but I'll reiterate it. He says basically a soldier gets shot and comes back from the war. He's pretty disturbed when he comes back, and he's not adjusting to civilian life, and he feels like a killing machine and kind of bloodthirsty. So I mean, from the moment he got on the mic and said here's what the song is about, it was just damn, that's heavy. We're in for a heavy song here. And he delivered for sure. It says, this time is different. It's not like the times before, but I cross my heart that I won't kill no more. So I wonder what he means by this time is different. I wonder if he has experienced maybe cases of PTSD, of flashbacks, of violent tendencies since coming back home. So that we're not meeting, I guess, the protagonist at the beginning, but we're meeting them after they've kind of struggled with this problem for a while. So he's kind of saying I'll make that change. I'm not gonna kill anymore. I'm not gonna be this weapon or what have you. Jesus, watch over me, keep my anger at home. You better bless these wicked hands because they got a mind of their own. Don't go downtown. So again, I think because of perhaps the PTSD, of the anger, the aggression, what have you, that he's I hope I can keep that side of me at home when I go out, but there's just so many things that I see or that happen that I just don't like or that piss me off. And so it's you better bless these wicked hands that got a mind of their own. So it's sort of he almost can't control it. He doesn't want to be violent, but something just kind of takes hold of him to where he gets that way. And it says, don't go downtown. And I wonder if that's sort of a trigger for him, if it's just it's so stressful, there's too many people. I know people who have served in the army, and when they come back, they just have this discomfort about being around large crowds. They have certain discomforts that really trigger that PTSD or that feeling. And so I wonder if that's it for him. Downtown, ton of people, and that's just sort of something that he can't handle at this point in his life. The devil whispers in my ear, it's time for your curtain call. And again, to me, that means death. So I think, again, struggling with PTSD and being violent towards others, he's also struggling with perhaps suicidal thoughts and tendencies. So I dress myself on up with alcohol. So, he kind of drinks recklessly, not caring if he drinks too much and dies from alcohol poisoning, right? I think that's kind of what he's saying. Step aside. Oh, let the whistler through. There really ain't no help at all for folks like me and you. So I think he's kind of resigned himself. There's no help. He's basically just going to find himself at the bottom of the bottle. Don't go downtown. Get your goddamn hands out. Don't you look at me. No one's dying here alone. Well, I came to get it on. Let's get it on. So I wonder if this is maybe a flashback to the war. No one's dying here alone, or I wonder if it's sort of this is where he snaps and he goes and commits a crime or does something that does something violently. I mean, I'm not really sure, but this part was so just emotional and raw in the song. This time is different, not like the time before. I cross my heart that I won't kill anymore. So it sounds to me in the verse before that, he succumbed to violence, and then so now he's in the song saying, okay, that was the last time. I promise I won't kill anymore, which I think is a heavy way to end the song if I'm reading it correctly here. But obviously I could be wrong. But man, that was a heavy song lyrically, and it brings up a lot of thoughts to me. I've never served in the military in any capacity, And so like I can't even imagine the immense sacrifice, the discipline, all that stuff that goes into it, and don't get me wrong, I'm not one of those people who's gonna like put the troops on this pedestal when I need them. I think I live here in America, and in Texas you see it a lot too. It's just there's those people who basically use the army, the troops, the veterans, what have you, for their political gain. It's like I think back to like the whole Kaepernick situation, kneeling during the national anthem, and of course people were like, how dare you disrespect the flag and the troops and the veterans and what have you. And it's like, first of all, you missed the point of why he was protesting. And like, secondly, you only bring the troops out and the veterans out when you need them for political gain, so it's like, what about the troops? What about the veterans when there's somebody kneeling during the national anthem? But it's also like, well, what about the troops and the veterans when they come back from war and they don't get the care they need? They're homeless, they don't get therapy. They don't have support systems to adjust to civilian life. And you see that sort of hypocrisy a lot, where it's like, yeah, the troops are our heroes, the veterans are our heroes, how dare you disrespect them, blah blah blah. But it's like, oh, but at the same time, we're not going to properly fund any sort of mental health programs for them. We're not going to make sure that all veterans have housing. We're not going to make sure all, it's like the American hypocrisy is real. I don't know how many of you watch my channel here from America, but I'm sure many of you have experienced that before. The hypocrisy is real, man. So what I'm saying is, I think this is one of those cases. This is someone who he comes back from war and he's not getting the proper care that he needs. He's not getting the proper therapy, the proper support systems, what have you. And depending on how long he was in the military, that could be all he knows. All he knows is the violence or what he was asked to do in the line of duty. And it's rough. And so kind of what I say is like, I can empathize with this, I can sympathize with it, although I've never experienced it myself. Again, I've never been in the military in any capacity. But yeah, this is a story you hear a lot, and it's a shame. In my opinion, there should be no such thing as a homeless veteran. There should be no such thing as homelessness in general, especially in the richest country in the world. But come on, you're veterans. Come on. And so there shouldn't be cases like this where there's just people who come back from literal war and don't have the support systems they need. Like, it just absolutely should not happen. Yet our bureaucracy, our government, just the hypocrisy is real. That's all I have to say. And it's frustrating as a citizen to see so many people just go along with it and use the troops and the veterans and soldiers and what have you as a political pawn whenever it's convenient for them. You know what I mean? So yeah, it sucks. But the lyrics here really hit. And this is like a very, I don't know about other countries, this is a very genuinely American song about an American situation, if you will. So, yeah, not a proud moment, but something that needs to be said, something that needs to be heard. I just think it's a very culturally relevant song. And I see it, I think it came out in, 2013? He recorded this song or released this song. Yeah, and it's still just as present today as it was, I'm sure, back then. So lyrically, I got to give it 2 thumbs up. Very heavy, a real life topic, and I think that's a big thing with Guy and Guitar. That's why I say I like that so much, just because it's like it usually in that sort of music you get that real down to earth centered opinion and look into life. Yeah, it was just fantastic lyrically, blew me away. But I think what elevated this song even more was just the vocal and the instrumental performance. The guitar was fine. It really had this dark, like, just really sorrowful tone to it. And it just really carried the song along nicely. I think where the song ultimately shined was in the White Buffalo's performance, singing and whistling. I actually feel like the whistling throughout the song brought a huge boost to the song, because again, it really called back to like the old Western vibe. And again, I don't think that was any sort of mistake there. You know, you think about the old West and sort of the stereotype that we have of it, that sort of lawless frontier, where law was kept by like bounty men and small town sheriffs and stuff like that, right? And you know, I think back to like Red Dead Redemption, or you know, something like that sort of style. And I think this is sort of a modern Western story of this sort of anti-hero, who is struggling with these huge issues, and they use violence as a means to get through those issues. So again, I think it's sort of a callback and a pull forward of sort of those Western tropes, but in a modern day setting. And really in this modern day setting, you see the dark grimness and griminess of it all. You know, if you think back, if you were one of those outlaws in the Old West, you're probably having a grand old time. But if you're just a random citizen that's being tortured by these roaming gangs of outlaws, it's a terrible time for you, right? And so we sort of romanticize the Old West, to the point where it's almost unrecognizable from what it would probably have been if you would actually have been living in that time. And I think this is kind of this might be me reading too much into it, but I just, because of that Western vibe, I really think that it's very reminiscent. Like, you know, we have this sort of same thing, like this sort of romanticized ideal of the soldier and the veteran. But when you really break it down, it's like, wow, you know, it's a lot darker than I had originally thought. You know what I mean? And I think that thread between like the Old West and the modern day, thematically through this song, makes a lot of sense. At least in my opinion. And then of course, so that kind of to me justifies the whistle at the beginning and the end, and just really well done. As someone in myself who can't whistle that well at all, just the whistling performance here was actually just really impressive. And then the White Buffalo, his voice was great. He really sang with that emotion, but then towards the end of the song there, where he just really belted it out, man. He was going off, just the emotion and the passion behind that singing performance, and then it just sounded great, man. You know, his voice sounded amazing. It was just a very rough, gritty voice that I really enjoyed. Yeah, it was fantastic. I give it 2 big thumbs up for the performance, for the instrumentals, the vocals. If I had more thumbs, I'd give it more thumbs. It was a fantastic song. And then as far as replay value goes, you know, because of the dark subject matter, because of just the grittiness and sort of the sorrowful tone of the song, I don't know if I can listen to this all the time. Just as an emotional, empathetic person, I don't know if I can listen to the song all the time. But the performance is going to keep bringing me back to the song. So it does have a lot of replay value for me. I'm still gonna give it 2 thumbs up, because this is such a greatly composed song that when I hear it again, I'm just like, ooh, you know, I'm just really feeling it. But it's not gonna be a song that I seek out all the time, just because of the hot and heavy, dark subject matter. But still got a lot of replay value for me. So overall, really enjoyed the song. I hope you can tell. I hope, you know, with me, I don't always share my enthusiasm. I know I have sort of a monotone voice in general. So I don't know if enthusiasm always comes through the way I want it to, but I assure you, I love this song. Thank you so much for whoever requested it. As always, if you would like to request something in the comments, I'll get to it eventually. I'll check to see if the White Buffalo is on Spotify. If he is, he'll definitely go in my Spotify playlist, which has all the songs I've heard so far on my channel. Makes for a pretty good day of listening. And if you would like to support me, just consider doing all the normal stuff you do on YouTube. Like and subscribe and comment. Alright guys, that's it for me. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you're staying safe and healthy. And hopefully, I will see you in the next video. Bye.